to move on to Artemisia. We're going to do the first woman death address. It's kind of insane. So if you've ever seen 300, The Rise of an Empire, give me 1 second. I have to do a change.
That's
Eva
the
Green.
one with the dinosaurs.
Is this her character?
Eva Green, yes.
I didn't actually see
this
the
is
movie,
who I'm talking about. Eva Green is her character. And it's very cool.
The time frame you mentioned, is it before or after dinosaurs?
Yeah, right around the same time.
Same time.
Same time. Okay. Perfect. Then we're right on track, boys and girl.
Time to learn, time to laugh. It's the Death Address.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of The Death Address. Today, Ray is going to be leading the charge since he did some research on the two people he's going to be talking about here. So, Ray, go ahead and take it away. Let us know who we're listening in on and learning about today.
Alrighty. So, the first person that I will be discussing is Sigurd the Mighty, also known as Sigurd Eysteinsson. He was born in 870. Eysteinsson. Yeah, it's a legit thing. It's EY with an S after that. TEINSSON. So, he reigned from 875 to 892. He was the second Earl of Orkney, which we're going to get into. A title bequeathed to Sigurd by his brother Ragnvald, which is also interesting.
Liking the name so far.
Yeah, it's one of those fun things. So essentially, Sigurd, according to my research, wasn't really much of anything, but he had a brother who was a monster in all aspects.
So he was known as that guy's brother.
Pretty much, to be honest. If we're really breaking it down. So he was bestowed as they gave him Orkney and the Shetland Islands and everything like that. And his brother, simply because his son Ivar was killed in battle, was like, I can't be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. You can have it. So his brother was given all this land. And Sigurd was just kind of like, okay, sure.
Cool.
So my favorite part of this tale is coming up. His reign wasn't great. He didn't do much. He didn't do much for anybody. And he really didn't reign for a long time. He reigned for 12 years.
He was just kind of there.
But my favorite part of this entire story is that to challenge him, the Scots decided, hey, fuck this king. We don't like him. Right? So this king shows up one day and is like, hey, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to show you 40 horses, and you bring your best 40 horses, and we're going to fight.
With people riding them, or just...
It wasn't a
with
horse
people riding them. They're just horses. They're just running.
We're gonna put him in this ring.
It's crazy, dude. Hidalgo lost his mind.
What was the time period? What were the year range again?
Dude, so the year range is 875 to 892 is when he was reigning, and when he was fighting, it was 880 or something like that. And he was a conqueror for a little bit. He did do his part. There's not too much to explain his early years, but his brother, like I said, was his main claim to fame. Harold Finehair, if you've seen the show Vikings, actually, Harold Finehair gifted these people this land in this particular spot. So that actually happened. That was a weird thing. But Sigurd going up against the Scottish king was okay, I'll show up with 40 horses. And so both people show up to the battlefield, right? They each have 40 horses. And Sigurd bamboozled the shit out of this other king. I don't know how he managed to do it. But he showed up with 2 people per horse, so he had 80 people.
I guess that's why you got to rule. You can't leave it open for interpretation.
Dude, he straight up cheated the system somehow. And
to be fair, the Scott King should have specified.
Yeah,
well, he was like, dude, show up with 40 horses, and Sigurd was like, word, I'm gonna put 2 people on each.
I mean, like, yeah, literally, he could have just had an entire army like walking 40 horses. And
like,
like,
it's
what up,
kind of epic in its own way. It's just like, dude, like, he just kind of like destroyed this man at his own game. Like,
yeah, that's a
too
smart
much
move.
pride, dude. Like, too much
that's
pride.
A smart move.
And Sigurd was like, dude, hop on, dude, let's go.
Yeah. Grab your buddy. We're going to war.
Yeah, dude. War horse. Let's do this. So they went into this battle. And, of course, the Scots got absolutely destroyed, dude. Like, just absolutely annihilated. And throughout the entire battle, Sigurd, at the end of it, was like, you know what? We need trophies. We need to show people exactly how badass we were.
Naturally.
And so they go in, they cut off the heads of every single person on the battlefield, whether it was them or the other people. Like, they cut off the heads, they mounted everything on their horses to bring it back. So the idea was that even the people that died for them in battle would live on, through.
Gotcha.
So they put those on the left side. They put those heads on the left side of their horses. And as they're riding, Sigurd, of course, arrogant as shit, just won his battle, put the other king's head on the right side of his horse. He has a snaggletooth.
Sigurd or the king?
As terrible as this may sound, and I'm not trying to shit on a dead man.
Right? The king has a snaggletooth?
Yeah, the king has a snaggletooth, and he is also Sigurd's trophy that he is riding back to his homeland with. And this snaggletooth ate away at his calf muscle. So it continuously degraded his calf muscle so much that it caused a wound. This wound grew into an inflammation that eventually became an infection that ultimately killed him before he could even get back to his homeland.
Oh my god.
So, like, the whole time, he's just like letting this thing just scratch his leg. He
Yeah,
doesn't notice it at all.
I'm such a sensitive millennial. Like, if I feel a hair, like an ingrown hair, I'm like, ew. Like, how did he not feel that shit?
Right? And I was
he's just too caught up in his own shit at this point. Like, he doesn't care, man. Like,
we all just said how smart this guy was for putting 2 people on horseback, and then this motherfucker rides back home with a snaggletooth just fucking biting him the entire time.
You can't always be a winner.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's kind of incredible. It's kind of cool in a way. To me.
It's poetic.
It's very poetic, dude. The dude did not know what karma meant, and karma probably didn't even exist. I mean, it's the year 800. So
I just picture it. I just picture like the head being like when you cut off a snake head. So like the whole time he's riding on the horse, the head still is like moving.
Dude, it's just buckling though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a head. Like, it's still there. It's gonna do its thing. Like,
his one mistake was he should have fucking cut off that snaggletooth.
Should have filed the teeth.
Tape over the mouth. There's a lot of solutions.
Dude, something, man. But okay, so to like go deeper into his story a little bit, he actually was like one of the first people to like fight the Danes, if you know who the Danes are.
Our listeners might not.
So the Danes, they were a people of Scottish descent, and they wanted to, of course, destroy the shit out of this man. They couldn't touch him in a weird way. They just couldn't. They subdued pirate Vikings throughout their entire life. Like, they would catch people coming in on ships, but they could not siege his castle. The castle that he was given, and then all of a sudden when he died, man, they just vacated. It's really weird. Like, it's a bizarre tale.
Huh. And the Danes hated Sigurd, or they liked Sigurd?
The Danes hated Sigurd. They were Scots. They did not like him.
They disappeared when he died. That's fucking weird.
Well, it's not that they disappeared. They just kind of gave up on the land. And
this isn't fun anymore now that we don't have to fight him. I'm leaving. Yeah,
exactly. But his exploits in conquering the north of Scotland entirely became legendary and earned him they earned him the Mighty. because nobody wanted to fight him. They just kind of gave up. It's so weird. Like, his legend just kind of lived on.
So, like, when he died, did he just, like, fall off his horse and die? Or did they, like, pull over and lay him down and be like, ah, fuck, Snaggletooth got him, he's dead?
There's not a lot that they say on it. The only thing that I have seen as far as, like, his actual death was just that he started throwing up everywhere. Like, and couldn't, like... He couldn't keep a meal down, is what they were saying, and they made camp, and then he just died.
Like, well, I was gonna go with the whole ending of being like, he was so prideful that man died with a smile on his face still, and then you went ahead and said that, and I was like,
well, I guarantee you, he probably was so drunk, dude, that it didn't even matter at that point. Yeah. Like, he had just won a battle, like, they were riding back home, like, he was probably just shit-faced and died of liver disease.
So he definitely had a smile on his face.
But yeah, it says, toward the end of his reign, Sigurd challenged a native ruler, Maelbright, the Bucktooth, a 40-man sided battle. Sigurd brought 80 men to the fight. Maelbright was defeated and beheaded. Sigurd strapped his head to a saddle as a trophy, but as Sigurd rode, Maelbright's Bucktooth scratched his leg. I swear to God, dude, you can look this shit up. The leg became inflamed and infected, and as a result, Sigurd
died. His head
died.
was like a sticky grenade in Halo, like kill from the grave.
Kill from the grave, yeah, exactly. So both Sigurd and I guess Maelbright died with a smile on their face.
Dude, yeah, Maelbright definitely died with a smile on his face. With that Bucktooth, dude.
Died with the smile on his leg.
That's the only way. He had to have been smiling to eat that.
He died with a smile on his leg. Very nice.
So there's not much else on, on Sigurd. So we're going to move on. Alrighty. So let's get started on Archimnesia, our first female character in the Death Address. So she was likely born around 520 BC in Halicarnassus, near what is today known as Bodrum, Turkey. It was the capital back then. Artemisia, she inherited her throne from her husband, whose name is not known. So that's where it starts getting dicey.
Was this the guy we talked about earlier that you said his name was Amen?
No, this is a female.
No, her husband, the love of her life.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay. It's debated whether she actually did love somebody because of how cold-hearted she was. In a way, but also we'll get into how cliche her death ended up being. We'll discuss that. But she was the biggest lieutenant of Xerxes. So her kingdom included Halicarnassus and the nearby islands of Kos, Kalanos, and Nisseros. And Artemisia had at least one son.
Okay.
Cyndelus, who ruled her kingdom of Halicarnassus after her between roughly 460 and 450 BCE. So, as far as the Persian wars go, when Xerxes went to war against Greece, Artemisia was the only woman among his commanders. So, like, that's pretty fucking huge, Like, she's a beast. And yeah, it's Eva Green, you know what I mean?
We get excited when there's the first female referee, so,
Yeah, exactly.
And it only took like
so she was like
1,000 more years for women to get the right to vote too.
They're like, hey, this girl has some crazy mad skills, so let's let her control this army of 80,000 people.
Yeah, sounds about right.
She brought 5 ships, 70 total, and sent them into battle. The 5 ships were forces with reputation for ferocity and valor, and they totally wiped out anything in front of them. She always sent 5. That was her rule. Herodotus suggests that Xerxes selected Artemisia to lead a squadron to embarrass the Greeks. And embarrass them she did. She absolutely destroyed them in battle. She sent her 5 ships first. The Greeks thought they were about to win this huge war, and then all of a sudden moved in with 70,000 troops and just absolutely demolished them.
So, real quick, was there any explanation as to why she had her 5-ship rule, or that's just what it was?
No, there really isn't. A lot of people just think that it was a lot of bait and switch, and they think that a woman could not lead, kind of thing. And so it was, we're going to send 5 ships as a scout. We don't care if they die. We don't, we have the numbers, we have the strength, and we will be there.
All right.
And so, I mean, of course, if you read actual history, she won the Battle of Thermopylae against the Greeks.
She won the Battle of Monopoly?
That's how the game started and why it takes so long.
Fucking, she bought the stadium. She had the stadium and everything.
She passed go way more than the other ones.
Dude, she passed go like
Is
6
it the iron?
But in August of 480 BCE, Sergei, good old Sergei, dude.
It's the ancestor to Fergie.
But they sent this man, Mardonius, to talk to each of his naval commanders separately about the upcoming Battle of Salamis. Artemisia was the only one who said, no, I'm done fighting on the sea. I want to fight on land. I want to fuck these people up. And she suggested that Xerxes wait, like offshore. Like, sure, fine, we'll fight, but you just stay over here. She was very, very blunt about their chances against the Greeks, but they didn't have the challenge. And while he was pleased with that, she provided a separate viewpoint. Xerxes ignored her advice, of course, including to follow the majority opinion, which was, of course, go and fight more.
Mm-hmm.
So during the Battle of Salamis, Artemisia found her flagship was being chased by an Athenian vessel, and they didn't have any chance of escape whatsoever. So she did what any of us would do, and she turned the ship around and rammed them.
Naturally, I was gonna say rammed them.
She straight up turned the ship around and was like, "Fuck you," rammed it, and it was
enough video games that
and that ship that she rammed sank with all of their soldiers. Like they sank. And they were the Athenians.
How to swim.
What do you think?
Yeah, dude, they didn't swim.
People didn't learn how to swim either back then.
Dude,
so
they had a mile to go, dude. Like, I mean, you can try. I'm sure there's a few people that made it, but
did
okay.
Artemisia's ship get destroyed, or did they just ran
No, we're going. We're going
so the
into
Greek
that.
CGI abs couldn't even save them from the ocean.
No, dude, no. That spray paint on shit don't work when you sink.
Yeah, the water washes it off.
Yeah, exactly. So the Athenians that were confused by her actions, of course, like why would not anybody be confused by this? They assumed she was either a Greek ship or that's not who they were trying to chase. They recalled their entire fleet.
They recalled their entire fleet because they're like, yo, what just happened?
They're like, dude, there's no way that ship would just turn around and do that.
Did anybody else get the license plate on that ship?
No, dude, that's the best part is that no one from the Caledonian ship survived. And Xerxes was impressed for once in his fucking life.
Yeah. You have impressed me.
My men have become women, and my women have become men, was Xerxes' exact words. That is a quote from history that you can look up.
Gender bending.
Quote that shit.
Where's all that been for the women empowerment movement and stuff? Xerxes was the one that started that, yo.
But Xerxes was a very, very feminine person. Yeah, in my opinion, based on the movies, which is okay. That's
just South Park, or was it actually believed that he might have been a woman?
I think 300 did it justice as well. After the failure at Salamis, Xerxes abandoned his invasion of Greece, and Artemisia is credited with persuading him with this decision. So she was basically like, dude, we can't do this. We're trying. We're done. I had to ram a boat into another fucking boat, but they had 10 other boats. Like, we need to leave.
I'm not a professional boat rammer, but I'm pretty sure I can't ram 10 more boats, dude.
We need to get the fuck out of here right now.
She was basically a pirate. So she turned into a pirate after the Xerxes raids. They didn't really let her be herself, if that makes sense.
I don't understand.
They continued to like let her like run stuff, but at the same time, like Xerxes couldn't continue like pursuing a Greek dominance thing. So this is where it starts getting very, very, very interesting. Is that her death? She falls in love with this man, and they kind of just do their own pirate shit for about a couple years. 448. That's what it is. So 448 BCE. They're running around. They're just looting and doing everything.
So basically like a pirate Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, exactly. And then Xerxes all of a sudden comes in and he decides that this man shouldn't live anymore.
Huh.
That's it. You're done. It's over.
So Xerxes, in the end, executes this man. Well, Artemisia, she fucking hates that. She
That
doesn't
didn't
like
sit
it.
too well with her.
I would hope she wasn't okay with that. Yeah. Like, oh man, you did it. All right.
The legend has it that she climbed to the tallest mountain that was known by the Greeks at that time to defy Xerxes. She prayed to the Greek gods to bring her love back, right? That's why I said it was getting very, very cliche. And I'm not the fan of this, but at the same time, the repercussions of it, I fucking love. So she jumps off this cliff, right? Sacrificing herself to the gods, trying to bring her love back. She dies. She dies really hard.
But did it
She was
work?
successful.
It didn't work in the sense of her bringing her love back from death, but it did work in the fact that Xerxes never won a fight again.
Oh.
Well, that's good.
So they say, and this is why I chose her, that she is cursed. She's a cursed human being. Because she dove off this mountaintop. She did it out of love and everything. And
that's how she killed herself? Was she dove off the mountaintop?
She dove. She plunged. Is what the word said. She dolphined down the stairs. Just straight down.
I'm like, the logic on that just confuses me so much.
Those who leapt from this rock were said to be cured from passion of love, because she was so miserable that she did this, and then Xerxes never won a battle again.
But like,
so that's where the other cliche is, where she's just a broken, crazy woman and has to go.
But like, that's what I'm saying. The logic behind it, of like, she wants to bring her love back by like killing herself, so what, her love comes back, and it's like,
but dude, you have to think about like
it's a vicious cycle. He's gonna jump off the mountain, she comes back, she jumps off the mountain. They're just doing it because they're both.
Dude, everybody's just jumping off a mountain. I know.
Plunging down the mountain, bro.
The death chose her. So like, that's the way it goes.
Don't hate the death, hate the game.
It probably made sense to everyone else.
I was gonna say it.
But at the same time, I do think it is like absolutely insane that this woman, she like waged war on Athens, was like, fuck you guys, you know what I mean? And then she fell in love. His name is Theseus, was his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what a Theseus.
But at the same time, like, it's crazy to think that like this woman had so much power. He told her to fuck off. She left. Then he killed her husband, and she was like, no, fuck you. I'm diving. Like, I'm done with it. And then
dolphin diving, bro.
And then he lost. He didn't conquer shit after that. Like, he lost that battle. Was like, word.
Now, was she cursed, or was she just that good of a general that he
was just relying on her to win all his battles?
She was just that good of a general, dude. Like, that's the thing, is like, she was actually like dope. Like, if you read into it a lot more, like, it's crazy. Like, it's kind of nuts, like, how much she conquered in such a short time.
Yeah, and I mean, we had the whole Sword of Mars for Attila the Hun, so it doesn't put it past.
Yeah, dude. Might as well have the dive of the dove, dude.
Bro. Dolphin dive.
The dolphin dive, dude.
Dive and dodge.
So.
But I think it's crazy that he had a female lieutenant a long time ago that literally won every battle, and then she finally lost one, and everybody just kind of got derailed, Yeah. So some 13 centuries later, this is where her death comes into play. Claims that Artemisia fell in love with Abydos.
What was that name? One more time.
Abydos.
All right.
It's spelled Abydos. Abydos.
Abydos.
And so he ignored her, and when she was ignored, she blinded him while he was sleeping.
Ooh.
But her love for him increased. Xerxes then killed him. And an oracle told her to jump from the top of the rock of Leucas, Leucas. But she was killed after jumping off of these cliffs because she was in love with him.
Xerxes just seems like a very jealous person.
Well, yeah,
he had the god complex too. Like when he said he decided this guy needed to die, it was like he was like, yes, I control life and death.
It's time for you to go.
But yeah, and then the only modern cultural references that we really have is the movie with Eva Green, which she's a goddess, so
Boom, Sin City.
Boom, Sin City. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I can say it.
But yeah, so that's how she died. She found the highest cliff on the most Greek soil that she could find and was like, I'm bringing this dude back. And she dove head first, and then Xerxes never won a fight again.
That's pretty
Take
impressive.
that, Xerxes.
So I guess it comes down to the same question I asked Jordan and I asked Andy was, I guess for both of them, Sigurd and then Artemisia. I don't think I'm saying her name right anytime, but whatever.
Artemisia, yeah.
Artemisia. What is like the moral or effect that their life had on others around them or during the time, I guess, that was big?
I feel like the moral of the story for me today is that love conquers all. And the love for power for Sigurd ended up being his demise. So I feel like the moral of the story would be just be true to who you are. Like, just love unconditionally. And
you love that you killed that guy. You love his head. Put it next to you, and you love the fact that he snaggletooth your leg and you're dead.
Well, so the problem is that he just loved power too much, and so just don't be an asshole about love. How about that?
Yeah, and the Artemisia one seems like she just more or less got screwed over and was just using.
Yeah, she did, and she fought for a king who really didn't care. He just wanted to conquer. I mean, it is Xerxes after all.
He was a god king.
I mean, he had the little like applaud of like, yo, you let her be a general. That's impressive for women and stuff like that. But I mean, in reality,
still controlling dude.
In reality, he was still using a woman. So
controlling douche.
But I would say that the ultimate thing is to take away from this is don't let love destroy you, but love.
Aww.
How about that?
ELE. Everybody love everybody.
But how about that?
Don't be a fool. Wrap your severed head.
Don't be a fool. Wrap your severed head. I would have loved to do a full episode on Sigurd, dude, but it was like, he grew up and he died. That's pretty much it. They were like, dude, he died because of a tooth. Did you hear about that? Another cool fact about Artemisia, just if anybody wants any more further education on her, she did defeat the Athenians. It's when Sparta showed up that she got fucked.
I mean, she couldn't handle the 300.
Whenever Master Chief shows up in the Spartans, it's always a tough one.
That 117, dude, just shows up. It's there. But
and I mean, honestly, do you think that Artemisia died with a giant smile on her face when she dolphin dove.
I honestly
Wouldn't
think
you?
that she did, dude. She died with a smile on her face. She was like, dude, I'm saving this man's life. And then
opened her arms out, smiled, and was all the way down.
and then
One way or
nobody
another,
woke up. Dude.
she's seeing him.
I mean, like the way to look at it is if Xerxes never won a battle again and all that shit was. I mean, she could have brought her love back in a sense of like.
Well, no, that was like the whole thing about her story was that she didn't bring him back, but she brought about like a different kind. She brought about what her husband would have wanted.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She brought him back in a sense of he was a spooky ghost that just fucked up the battle.
Dude, like you can look it up. It's Xerxes. As soon as she dies, like disappeared from history. It's like super weird.
Kind of cool.
And I mean, Xerxes would be a cool death, but nobody knows how Xerxes died because he just disappeared, dude, from history books. Cool like there is shit about Artemisia that people know. Nobody knows shit about Xerxes.
Yeah,
so that's kind of cool for me.
He went on the hunt for Attila the Hun's dinosaur and never found it. And
dude, he tried to find the coffin so bad and drowned in the
river. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for the episode. I think it was a good one, and appreciate you doing the research and bringing it all to us, Ray. And thanks for listening to The Death Address. Follow our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for exclusive information on what's to come and to ask us questions. Take a look at our website at www.deathshifter.com. You can find all of the links there as well as some information about the Death Shifter team. If you're interested in supporting the show, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/deathshifter. We'll see you all next time. Till then, take care of yourselves and
don't forget to tip your death guides. Time to learn, time to laugh. It's the Death Address.